Welcome back. You're watching Inside Politics. Time for one of my favorite segments where we get to hear from you back at home in terms of the talking points we've had right here on the round table. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Our first caller is calling from Mandera County. Kibet, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Kindly proceed, Kibet.
Okay, let me start with the first issue. Is about these governors choosing. They are running it based on qualification or somebody they can work with. Normally during election, I believe that it's about winning the vote. It's not about working together. Now it's about self-interest during that time. Then there was an issue about women in leadership. Even in egalitarian societies like the Scandinavian countries, which are trying not to project their power to the world aggressively, it hardly do they reach 50%. And let's say, for example, in European Parliament, they're around 16%. In USA, they are less than even 10%. I don't know what is special about Kenyan women that we need to do affirmative action on them. Like, should we be like giving women a position of deputy governor if the governor is a man, or giving the man a man as a deputy? It doesn't work that way, because to me, in my opinion, it is like taking money from poor men and women and rewarding women. Women in Kenya, if they're interested, they should even be demanding a third of those police who are going to Haiti to be given those a third of those lots. Because it is punishing poor men and women and rewarding rich women. Because there is no poor woman who will be rewarded with those posts. Let's be realistic. Even as we speak at the moment, if you can see with those who are appointed, if they are not, if they want to work hard, they can work hard like Toto, win those positions. Because, like for example, I can't win.
Okay, Kibet. Definitely we'll put the lady panelist to task to explain what exactly is special about Kenyan women in terms of all this affirmative action. Thank you for that call. Let's cross over to our next caller, calling from Ruaka, right here in Nairobi, or is it Kiambu? Kamau, good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Ruaka is in Kiambu.
Kiambu, thanks for that clarification. Talk to us.
I'm David Kamau from Ruaka.
Okay.
My concern is the all over change of heart by the Kenya Kwanza regime that they are supporting Raila.
Uh-huh.
And what I see that is that they want to remove all the hurdles, yeah?
Uh-huh.
So that when it comes to 2027, the president, because he's doing so poorly on the ground, he can only face a very weak candidate.
Okay.
But I think it's a high time Kenyans wake up. I think this Kenya Kwanza government has done very little on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They are up and down, moving around the country, using out of millions of shillings. But yet our children are not in school. NHIS is not working. The things that matter are not being prioritized. And I will say as the president is too active without any achievement. Too much activity without achievement. And that is it. And there should be a difference. So on the issue of the deputy governor, I think it is important for people to know that issue, it is being given out of preeminence. It's not going to solve the integrity question in this country. Today we had a member of parliament from Naivasha telling us that miraculously, President has acquired a land there. I mean, how is this happening? And today they are in church, and they are born again, they are spirit-filled. So these are things we should be really concerned as the people of Kenya.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Kamau. We appreciate your call and your contribution right there. So that we can get enough time, let's go back to those issues that have been raised by the two callers so far. So I'll start with you, Ruth. What exactly is special about Kenyan women that we put so much emphasis on affirmative action? He's given comparisons with the US, where the numbers are even lower, but we seem to be hell-bent right here in Kenya in achieving the 2/3 gender role? Give us your take on that.
Thank you so much. I really like that question from Kibet, from Mandela. And the first thing about the speciality of a woman is the fact that all of you guys were brought forth by a woman. So that alone is speciality of a woman. But more so, it doesn't mean that beside the other things that women do, they cannot be in leadership. I'll take it back a little bit because of first, I normally call it unconscious bias, or just the normal, we can call it stereotyping, that based especially on how the male child has been brought previously, there's unconscious bias of them looking at a woman like a lower. However, when it comes to going to school, when it comes to going to work, when it comes to going to other things, the same thing that men do in school, it's the same thing that women do. When it comes to work, actually, the research has shown that women are mostly even sometimes paid lower than their male counterparts, even when women are doing more. But that is not even the end. In this country, women have proved themselves, and I'll start with the leadership, even say, of the whatever we spoke earlier about the G7. Yeah, those women have gone forth, they have gone for election like other men, and they have emerged very well. If you look at the unity that those women are having, whether they're in Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, that cannot be ignored in terms of seeing the kind of facilitation and mobilization they are doing in different counties. There is a lot of work, and you can already tell that they are influencing. Actually, they are not even influencing politically more than they are doing economically, in terms of giving back. Look at what was happening with Wanga in her county, in terms of giving back economically to Homa Bay County and its environment, which is a span big area of really starting to spur economic activity. The other thing is constitutionally. Constitution has given the right that women, people with disability, and other youth and minor people opportunity to do business and to be encouraged, meaning that it's already a provision in the Constitution, and women should embrace leadership. The other thing I can specifically tell women, because this is good to tell women, and I normally do a lot of facilitations and talk and trainings and all that, and whenever I even do a leadership training, you see women are a bit quiet and they do not want to say a lot of things, but I think there's every opportunity for women to raise their voice and be at that point of leadership unapologetically, and not to be seen to be favored, but go for what they believe they can be able to do for the change of this country, for the change of generations to come.
So we're definitely looking forward to a point where, this affirmative action seats, perhaps those who have served in one term do not serve yet again, so it can open up in terms of more women vying for these political positions. Okango, something was raised about one of the viewers reading malice in Kenya Kwanza supporting Raila. And he equally said that there's so much activity without action on the part of President William Ruto. How do you respond?
I remember when this came out, I posted a tweet sometimes back and I said, those who are more excited about Raila Odinga's candidature for the chairmanship of AUC are Kenya Kwanza. And I saw the comments, and I think it's a good thing that this is happening. They just realized that Raila Odinga is a gem. They just realized that Raila Odinga is that asset that they've been having and they never utilize. And therefore, when he goes to a continental role, they are likely to benefit as a country that is led by Kenya Kwanza regime. So they have realized that. But remember, they told Raila Odinga that we'll take you to Bondo. They told Raila Odinga that this is the end of you. But who is Raila Odinga? Who is God? Look, today, Raila Amolo Odinga is the eminently qualified Kenyan that is going for a continental role. And let me tell you, Jesse, Kenyans are very patriotic people. Whenever one of our own, irrespective of political affiliations, is approaching a continental role, we support them. You see the way Kipchoge Keinos were winning, Eliud Kipchoge's were winning. We put politics aside and we all rally behind. This is what is happening to Raila today.
So they're not getting rid of him from the local political scene.
That is political lenses locally. Because even if they try doing that, I can assure them, even if Raila was to go and become the AUC chair locally, William Ruto, those who will compete with William Ruto, are the people of Kenya.
Okay.
When William Ruto fails to deliver on the cost of living by lowering it, fails to deliver on the school fee, fails to deliver on housing and the rest, failed to do what he has to do as he promised, then the people of Kenya will vote him out in 2027. But lastly, on the issue that Ruth has mentioned, very lastly, the people of Kenya voted for a constitution. And the Constitution of Kenya provides for equality and non-discrimination against any gender. And therefore, we are obligated by the law to ensure that we promote the issues of the marginalized like women. Number two, in elective positions, the women have been given an opportunity. We were talking about the NADCO report here. You know, in the NADCO report, we proposed that the multi-sectoral working group to give a report and possibly a legislative framework on how to achieve this. When they submitted their report, they've actually done a good job, and they're saying we must now start looking at how do we do this gender top-up if we're to do so. How do we ensure that the women that contested in an election and for some reason or two they did not qualify are the ones given priority in topping up because they have gone through what is called special election. Okay. I think it is an issue that has got censored period, but with the time, if we support the gender agenda, we proceed that way, we will be there. We'll be there. Of course, not forgetting the other marginal groups, the youth and the boy child.
And people with disability.
Are we Kenyan women marginalized today? That is my concern because in the villages and in the villages and the counties, probably the interiors, there is a lot of marginalization. Is that the same when you talk about national leadership? When you talk about number of female employees in national organizations and corporates? It may not be so, because you will find a lady almost in every office and in position of power. So my concern, because this is something that is progressive and it will go on until we have complete, equality in terms of, but when you look at where we have come from, even in terms of the constitutional development, the Constitution gave us a period within which we should achieve a certain margin.
Okay.
So have we achieved it? The answer is no. Why? Can you blame the president? Can you blame parliament? Or can you blame the people? I tend to challenge the people and parliament. They should, have this more whipped so that we can have actually more. But do we have the same problem that we had in 2015? No. We have quite a number of ladies in positions of power. So my question would be, what are the ladies in power doing for the ladies not in power? That is, I think, where she's running with a response. I think, because when you look at the judiciary chief justice, when you look at the Law Society of Kenya, when you look at governors who is in charge. So honestly, the ladies in power should do something for the ladies not in power.
I think the final one is to say, going forward, now considering women are majority even when it comes to the votes, I think women going forward should vote for their own women, but also the women in power, let's do something. Considering maybe I'm one of them.
But at times they say your own
their own enemies.
Yes.
There's that concept, but it can be amended through diplomacy and what we are talking about.
If you look at the voter numbers,
for
there
women,
are more female voters. Actually, if they are not equal, they are more. So the day the women decide that they want to put one of their own as president, they will do it. Let them do it.
Just say you're cutting it so short, but the point is, when good things come, let Kenyans' mind quickly transit towards the good things. Let's not focus on what will happen to ODM and all that, UDA and all that. Now we are looking at how important we will look as a nation when we take up the continental. When women are being voted into office, we should quickly turn our Kenyan psyche and mind into the right things, not really continue to whine about probably what is not correct here.
Okay, moving forward. Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady. We were joined by Frederick Okango, who is the Secretary Political Affairs at Azimio, Ruth Kinyanjui, who is a Strategic and Economic Advisor. Asante sana for your time. And Ishmael Nyaribo, an advocate of the High Court. Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen and lady. And I hope back at home we've given you service in terms of those 2 hours when it comes to proper analysis of the week's top developments. My name is Jesse Rogers. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good afternoon.